What's going on?
Hey. Question: are we giving Timbo credit anywhere for that beginning tune? Like, is it in like our description of all of our stuff?
I don't know if it is, but we should make sure it is.
Yeah, we should make sure it is. Like, I was just thinking that. I was like, oh yeah, he's letting
was
us
a
use
neat little PFP project called OMG Kirby. I actually have a couple different versions of that. Yeah, it was it was one of the first ones that was the randomly generated beat kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I got interested in it for that and just picked up a couple of them.
Yeah, no, it's worked out well. I really like it and appreciate Tim letting us use that. So
nice sound.
I sound like crap. I'm not going to be talking a lot, because I'm going to have to talk a lot later. So I'm going to try and save my voice as much as I possibly can. We got a cough drop in too, so sorry.
Fair enough.
But yeah, let's just get into it. Go ahead and tell us what's going on, man.
Yeah, Blake, take it away. It sounds like you're going to sub for Nate. Wait, me. Oh, okay. Let me say some stuff.
I was pointing. Can't you tell where I'm pointing?
To me, you're pointing off the screen.
Oh,
exactly. Now you're pointing at me.
Oh, wait, which way does it go? I don't know. Oh, I got to go to the camera.
Yeah.
No, wait. There.
You.
I don't know if anyone else was seeing this, but it seemed like the week started out pretty slow. There were a couple things that popped up, but it was relatively dry. And then they started announcing things about AMAs. The Walking Dead's going to have an AMA on Wednesday, October 11th. And then Meow Match is also going to do one. They're finally going to have an AMA that includes Mal. Mal seems to be an AMA fan favorite. He always had some entertaining things to say during the Townstar AMAs. I think he's just good at engaging people. His things come out of him naturally. So I
like Mal. He's old school.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's from the early days, man.
Yeah. So he's going to be at least one of the people involved in that. And that's going to be October 3rd. Poker Go Play. They were able to distribute the prizes from the first sweepstakes. And
nice.
So the first, second, and third place got some pretty beefy prizes.
Nice.
And then there were they've been mixing it up. They're going to be each sweepstakes is going to have a few big chunky prizes, and then the rest of the entries are still going to get like between like 50 and 100. It looks like Gala, and those are prizes that if you have a sweepstakes entry, you can get it, and if you have more than one, you can win multiple times. So they just run the sweepstakes, pick all the winners, and then tally up that amount and send it to you if you've won anything. I won a little bit. I know a lot of people that I was chatting with. They picked up something at least. I didn't get to talk to any of the big prize winners though. Those may be people that aren't quite plugged in yet.
I actually played it for the first time this week. Got in there and played, I don't know, 10 hands.
Okay.
So
yeah, one of the things that they did this week, they brought back the sit and go feature. They had that for the play tests, but when the official launch started, they had kind of set it aside. I don't know what, maybe they were just working out a kink or something, but it's back. And so you can do sit and goes now too, which are always fun if you like that tournament style play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I jumped into and played. So it's good.
Yeah. Eternal Paradox still doesn't have a release date. My initial thoughts were that they were going to be coming very soon, but apparently they got bumped for some other things. But Rattata, who I guess he's the contact for us within that game, he or she, not sure about that, but Rattata posted a message that was saying that they're going to be doing rewards. He was specifically responding to the concerns about the way the Champions Arena does their rewards. And we got a chance to see a little bit of how it will work within the last couple play tests. They had this currency called silver points, which are going to translate into whatever it is your earnings are. I believe it's going to be like a victory point kind of situation. And then they're going to be distributing daily rewards, seasonal rewards, and competition-based rewards. So I don't know if those are all going to be sent out separately, if they're going to like pool them together. But the point is that they're going to keep it very similar to what we've already seen in regards to how you can acquire any kind of earnings out of the game. I'm excited about that one. The last we heard, early November or mid-November. Really hopeful that it comes out like ASAP.
I think it's good when you have multiple, I guess, kind of earning potentials within a single game, because you have different kinds of players. You have like spurt players, you have more long-term players. I mean, you're going to have people that want to come into a competition, grind the game however many hours a day, every day until it's over. Then you're going to have people who, want to come in and play a couple hours here and there throughout the week, throughout the month. And so when you're able to cater to kind of each individual group that's going to be playing the game, I think that's a good idea. I like doing it that way rather than, some of the games are different play tests where it's like, okay, this is just a mad dash. If you're not on it 24/7, you're not winning anything. You don't have a shot. So providing a kind of longer form as well as those short-term competitions, I think is positive to see. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they were running 2 and 4 hour competitions throughout the playtest. It's like every hourly mark, you could see them starting up, and the top places out of those were able to harvest some silver points each time. So that was you know what? No, it wasn't even the top places. You just had to complete it. If you just completed the objective for that challenge, you were able to get some silver points out of it. So nice. That might be really helpful. Now, again, if it's a fractionalized kind of thing, you may not be earning a ton, but none of these games should be set up that way, or else they're not going to be sustainable. So, again, you're like the spurt player. Maybe they can just pop in for a half hour or an hour, play it until they just don't have any more time, or they just don't want to, and they can still get something out of it, even if it's not what the real avid players might be able to get through like the seasonal rewards or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Spider Tanks is kind of the same way, right? You know, you have the nodes and the map owners that are kind of regularly harvesting stuff, and you've got the game. The game only lasts like 5 minutes, and you can get something every time you win. So, so that's nice to be able to dig in. It would be nice to see them kind of increase the way that the nodes and maps interact with the game itself, but there is something there.
Map.
Well, you know what? That's kind of like leading me to. I'm going to jump to the Spider Tank stuff because we just mentioned it. They decided to sell 150 ironclad drop pods. These are the drop pods that came with the purchase of a node, a Spider Tanks node, and they started them at $200 for the first 50, and they go up incrementally by $50. I actually kind of like this move.
How many have they sold?
The last I checked, I can look that right now. I saw they sold about half of them. They may have sold more by now.
I can look it up too. I'll look it up while you're talking.
Okay, one of the things that I think they're running into is, you got those people that wanted to get them with silk, and that silk amount is climbing. It's like there's only so much silk that people have. So looks like
15 out of 50 remaining, and they're on tier 2 of 3.
Yeah, so a little bit more than half gone.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's a good sale. I personally don't have any objections to that. They still have the, what are the other drop pods?
So is this is one drop pod that just stays consistent forever, much like you running a node, you get a drop pod for it, correct?
Yeah, and it fits any rarity of tank up to ancient. So
that's going to help. It's going to help the silk distribution. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're going to have more people that are able to get their tanks out without having to. I don't know. The atomic drop pods aren't a bad idea, and I didn't think the price point on them was too bad because you didn't have to have too many days worth sunk into recouping your cost for them. as long as you had a pilot that was actually like playing the tank,
Yeah.
or if you were taking the time to queue your tanks or whatever.
Question:
But,
Are these gonna be NFTs, or are they just a database deal?
I didn't read that
Right here, Ironclad drop pods are not NFTs and are permanently bound
there
to
it is.
your account.
There
Gotcha.
it is.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that sucks. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
Make it an NFT, man. Why? I mean, let me have the chance to have an asset. Like you're let me spend money on something. Make it an asset.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. I think I like the idea of it as well. Like instead of constantly having to purchase something every month. But I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I got a crap load of silk just sitting there doing nothing. So
One thing I think about when I see this is, I know Spider Tanks has, kind of been struggling with player base and things of that nature. At what point is getting more drop pods out there going to like oversaturate the amount of, like, are we going to get to a point if they don't get new players in soon where there's more people trying to rent their tanks out than there are people trying to like use them and pilot them?
We sort of hit that point. There was a point at which you could all of a sudden see people, even with legendary tanks, were accepting like contender ranked players just to get them out there and get them played with. So people that have a common tank right now, if they're not playing it themselves, they're probably not seeing any activity with it, which is kind of a shame. But that's something that can be easily turned around with the right kind of marketing strategy. But that waits on something that's a little bit more engaging as far as a gameplay. Like there's no sense in going heavy on advertising if when people arrive they're not happy with what they see.
Yeah.
So as soon as they're able to sort those things out together, whether from the development side or the marketing side, the game still has a lot of potential because it's just fun to play those matches. It really is. So I guess we wait to see there. They on the side of marketing, they did recently. They let us know on Thursday they were revamping the Spider Friends program, which is their referral reward system. They already had a bunch of things in there that you could earn, and they beefed it up pretty well. There's quite a bit of extra stuff, and of course it's a tiered system, so it's not just like a once and done, but you can continue to tell your friends about it, and they have a minimum of, you have to have 10 games or 10 wins. I'm sorry, not just 10 games, but 10 wins before you qualify. So that's smart. Obviously, you don't want people just spinning up
botting it.
Yeah. But even there, like that's kind of a low threshold. It's not terrible, and that's something they over the course of a few days you could grind that out, and then your friend would be able to get credit for the fact that you played under their referral code. So I think that's a really good sweet spot for requirements.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Word of mouth marketing works well. I mean, especially when it comes to things like games specifically. I mean, if I'm going to buy a game, I usually ask one of my buddies, or if I'm going to invest my time or money into a game, I usually ask people around me that play the game. I'm like, hey, is this worth it? Like, is this fun?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna?
Well, and that's the marketing that sticks. I mean, regardless of what it is, games, business, the word of mouth marketing, those people stick. So that's what you want anyway. Those are going to give you the long-term players, but you got to continue to add features. You got to add gameplay. You got to add a lot of stuff to keep them interested. That's the thing about games, man. If it's the same thing over and over, people get bored.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, and we can thank Rostakip for building out NFT guilds. There's a Twitch streamer who goes by Willief or the Willief. He's actually putting together a tournament for this weekend. The qualifier has been going on throughout the week, and if I'm understanding it correctly, it's based on the number of times you hit MVP in your matches. This tournament is only open to aspirers and contenders, so it's a great way to like just give an opportunity to people that don't always see those high end rewards from gameplay.
Love that idea.
It's brilliant. And they're going to be giving away some different tanks. What was there? I think there's a Maul body that's going away or being given away. a captain's hat, if I recall correctly. There's a bunch of neat little NFT prizes that are going to be distributed to the top. But the tournament itself is going to be the top 12 from this qualifier round. And they're going to play, they're going to be matched in 4 teams, and then they'll get prizes based on how they finish in the tournament rounds.
Nice.
So that, and again, like right there, there's something to keep it interesting. The NFT guilds they're plugged into Spider Tanks, they're plugged into Townstar. I'm sure Rostakip's plugging them into as many things as it possibly can.
Oh yeah,
I love the way that he has like made it so that you can pretty much set up any kind of tournament you want. You can strip the game of certain NFTs so that if you're worried about parity, that you can make it much fairer. The Townstar stuff that he's done has been really incredible. You can make anything a win condition essentially, and so that just gives more variety to it, and it can help engage more people. Also, it opens it up to a new platform of potential people to notice it in the first place. If you depending on what he gets his hands in with other games wise, he might even be able to partner with games outside the Gala ecosystem. And then all of a sudden they're coming in, they're seeing these other games that have neat little tournament concepts that they can play with. I keep coming back to Splinterlands in regards to tournaments though, because I feel like they did it right. You can, as just a Joe Schmo off the street, you can set up a tournament anytime. It used to be a dark energy crystal fee. I'd imagine that's probably Splinter Shards now, but you can just pay that fee, and you can use it as an advertising platform. You don't even have to really do anything Splinterlands related. You can just like put up some kind of thumbnail, advertise whatever you wanted to talk about, and then give away some prizes. And people can play in that, and depending on how they finish, they win rewards and stuff like that. But that's all done right through the app, and it's pretty easy to set up. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That was totally on the fly, man. You're getting really good at this.
I just I just looked up Splinterlands tournaments, went to the page, and was like, click this link to create your own. Like,
yeah, it's just a couple steps, and then it launches, and you get to set when you want it to start and when you want it to finish. And
I remember the point in time where I thought Splinterlands was potentially going to come on board with Gala, because they were talking about a collaboration. I think they were talking about there was probably some internal chatter of purchasing or combining together, and they stayed their course. I think Gala took a couple of their employees and brought them over, and
my understanding is that Chris Roberts is still kind of working with both, that he does a lot of lore stuff. Yeah. So but yeah, he definitely was originally with Splinterlands, and Gala liked what they saw with him, so he's kind of writing cool lore stuff for a bunch of the different games.
That's cool.
Yeah,
good to see that.
So that kind of, like I said, jump.
Just have to get it in. I'm sorry.
It totally derails me.
You need it at least once.
Like I said,
he's out.
The week
he's done. He can't think anymore.
The week started really slow, but then Thursday we got kind of hammered with some bigger ticket news. Very early in the morning for Pacific time, at least, Legacy announced their official launch date. They're going to be going live on October 26th, and they haven't posted anything as to tokenomics or I'd imagine they're probably going to have some sales, whether before or shortly after the launch. There are a lot of buildings, like NFT building ideas that we've seen. We if you owned land, you received a Christmas drop of the Shakespearean townhouses. I think that was 2 Christmases ago. But no, that was just last Christmas, I think. Yeah, because it was after Galaverse. But we anticipate that there's probably going to be things that they sell. But whether or not that comes before or after, it doesn't matter. That we have the date now. We have that to look forward to. And we can also see why things were getting pushed. Things like Echoes of Empire. Eternal Paradox, even some of the Town Star stuff probably took a backseat in order to get this ready.
There's a lot of people excited about this game.
Yeah. And you just talked about sales. I wouldn't be surprised to see an additional land sale, considering kind of what it's saying right there about, landowners get daily login rewards, allowing them to participate in, certain competitions without cost. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a more low end land sale after the game goes live to allow people to potentially get their hands on a piece of that.
Well, that seems like something that Gala would just want to kind of keep in the store all the time. They just be kind of like what they said with the Trolls Vox. They did that partnership with Coinbase on Coinbase Marketplace. People were saying, "Oh, they're not selling out." It's like, we don't care. We're just going to let them sit there until they sell. And that seems like a great thing to do with land for this game. Like as people see the game and develop an interest in it, it'll be there available to them to actually to get a beefier piece of the pie than just gameplay with the land. You can get keys if you own land, and you can give them to your friends to allow them to play. So
nice.
So that was super big news, because Legacy had been really quiet for a long time. They were kind of stirring for a bit. Cade had released a couple announcements about them doing some QA work with the chain and everything, but it kind of came as a surprise that they would just they would immediately announce a release date like this. So that was
it was out of the blue, honestly, for sure.
Yeah, something that might not have been as out of the blue, but we still had no clue when they were going to officially let it fly, is the Get Plucked game from the Vox crew. It's Frogger, right? It's or Crossy Road, but they've done some interesting presentation stuff for it. They totally morphed the servers so that all the roles and the channel names are now chicken related. So it was even actually causing people some problems because they couldn't tag the right rooms anymore because they had changed the name. I guess Bitbender went to tag Gala Gold, and that tag didn't exist anymore. But the game is officially launched on iOS right now. It's Android is still waiting, which is very strange because there was a version that had launched on Android accidentally, I guess, and they decided to pull it until iOS was ready, and now they can't get it to work on Android. I don't know what the holdup is, but they're working on it.
I took a little bit of gameplay here. I hope it has sound. I actually didn't. I don't know if it's gonna have sound or not.
Yeah,
that's mine. I'm playing it off my phone.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I also pulled up I'll show another. I mean, like you said, it's Frogger, it's Crossy. I mean, it's exactly what kind of Crossy Road was to a degree. Didn't think that cactus would kill me. But
have you ever jumped into a cactus, bro? Dude, it'll kill you.
No, not intentionally. I can't say. I might have tripped into one once or twice. But yeah, you have your sign-in options and stuff. I didn't want to show it on. I didn't want to show my login information, so obviously I didn't. But I don't know if I show it. I show it here in just a second as well. They, again, kind of similar to games like Crossroad and stuff like that. You have all your different skins and stuff, and you'll see it here in a second. But it just showcases, that they are NFTs essentially, and that they're on OpenSea. You can't view them from within the app, which is, I would hope, at some point, if you click on that, maybe it would just link you directly to OpenSea so you could see it there, so you don't have to, search by name and import it that way or something like that. So
dead.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, so you can see there's.
Oh, okay.
And we'll show them by rarity up in the top left.
Okay, so are these all the hens that they dropped?
Yes.
Or are these all new? They did.
Well, so some of them I know that have been dropped. Like there's Henna Factor is in there. the dragon costume and stuff. And so I don't know about all of them. And then the one other thing that was on here as well that I wanted to show. Oh, is there's like an incubator type thing for if you're logged in. So essentially you can win free skins through playing enough. If you once you get to 200 total points, if you're logged in, you'll get a free skin. But yeah, that was basically the gist of it. Pretty simple. Those games aren't really overly complicated, but if you do them right, they can be good. But for example, this is a screenshot of Crossy Road, so it's pretty similar. Art style is a little bit different, but same basic gist. So yeah, we'll see. It's those types of little mobile games are easy to get sucked into for a weird amount of time sometimes, like especially if you're on a commute or something like that. I wouldn't imagine
Look at the DMV.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine this is a game people are gonna sit down like when they have real free time to play a game and be like, okay, yeah, let's get a new high score. So there's definitely those people out there, but I think it is one of those more kind of passing time style games, which are good to have. Cover all the bases.
Yep. I'll need something else besides just Dragon Strike for myself to,
Yeah.
Dragon Strike is really engaging, like even though the gameplay itself is just like a Candy Crush style thing, you have like so many different things you have to consider when you're leveling up your heroes or your champions, rather, whatever. No, they're heroes there. They said that the chickens, as of right now, it's just a skin, but that they intend for the different rarities, at least the different rarities, if not the actual specific chickens, to kind of have unique abilities similar to the way that the cats work in Meow Match.
Okay.
Not sure how they're going to balance that, but it's something that's they're not doing it for the launch, but they're going to be building it into the gameplay.
Nice.
So that's something to look forward to. So if you do have something that's super rare, if you got dropped an ancient or something like that, don't assume that it's just a skin. Hold on to it, play with it, and see what they do with it. It might end up turning into something a little more exciting for the game.
Well, and even I remember back in like Crossy Road, like some of the special like limited edition skins, like if you got a Halloween skin or something, when you went to play the game again, everything changed. Like the scenery was all different, the cars and everything were different. So it's like you can do a lot of cool things based off of something as simple as a skin to give it, a seemingly new feel entirely.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
The one thing I will say is, and the game just released, so it's, especially when I play a game on my phone, like if I'm gonna play a iPhone game, I expect it to be really crisp, because I'm playing, if I'm already used to all my other iOS things, so I'm expecting it to be really fluid. It did feel a little kind of choppy here and there. Like I noticed, like sometimes it wasn't, it wasn't perfectly responsive sometimes. Not that it was, hugely impactful to the gameplay, but it was one of those things where I was like, I'm excited for the whatever that first kind of update series looks like to, really just crisp it up. I think it'll be pretty good. We'll see.
I got the same feeling when I was playing, because you'd swipe it and it wouldn't quite either go the right way or it wouldn't respond right away. So
yeah, almost like a little bit input lag on it or something.
Yes,
it is what it is. It's just released.
Get some stuff out, man. This is good though. Get some stuff out, especially for Vox. Like they haven't given anything on Vox for the longest time. Like they had that little play test, I don't know, ages ago. It seems like 20 years ago, where you would run around the little town that they had, and you could like donate Gala to people.
Do you remember that Voxverse?
Yeah. You remember that family man? It was like you're bouncing around, like flying everywhere, and you could donate. I think the equivalent of Gala, well, with the price now, it's probably about the same. But at that time, I was giving away all sorts of Gala. I was just like, oh yeah, here's 100 Gala, here's 200 Gala, here's 300 Gala, just throwing it around everywhere. So yeah, that was fun. I'm glad to see that they're getting some stuff out. So.
Yep, it is. Yeah, more and more things releasing every day. It'll be exciting to see what gets finalized through the end of the year. We have Legacy, we have I don't know if you want to jump into this right now, but we have some. Hopefully, we'll see something happen with Townstar. And that whole situation.
Townstar? What do you mean? There's Townstar stuff that was going on?
There is no Townstar. It is now Common Ground World. So
Are you sure?
We're still stuck in Townstar the same way we're stuck in Geary, but that rebrand is underway.
When I look inside my my Gala account, it says Townstar. So
No, but how long did it say Geary?
Look, not my problem. That's a Gala problem. If they're trying to rebrand it, they better get rid of that then. So I think that was something somebody actually just brought up to Brink in the Discord. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it still says Geary. You guys can't even change your website. Like, who's in charge of the freaking website? Like,
they did get that done. It now said
how many months later?
I know.
Forever later. I'm complaining. I still have a cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's forgivable.
So, well, we're going to call it Townstar because that's what it tells me it is Townstar. So,
and that's 2 syllables. That's a lot easier to say.
Plus, when they talk about it, they call them Townstar nodes because that was the whole deal. That was the drama that was going on this week.
Yeah, that got heated there for a little bit. There were a few of us that were wondering what these things are supposed to do, and we got.
Well, they were obviously confused internally what they're supposed to do too. So, look, I'll just state this outright. Like you had a benefactor, or you said
that. Hey, man, what's said in gold stays in gold. We got to be careful there. That's one of the things that I'm worried about.
Was that in gold? I mean, how am I supposed to keep track of these things?
Well, let me do it for you. I'll just be here
no, you're fine. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. It's fine. If that's going to be an issue, everybody that's probably listening to this already knows anyway. So if they don't know, message me. I'll help you out.
There were some things that were going on in Gala Gold. So if you want to get yourself a Gala Gold subscription, you can find out what we're talking about.
Exactly.
In the meantime, one thing that's known to everybody is the fact that the Townstar nodes were sold about 2 years ago, and they still don't do anything. They did earn for a little bit during the height of the Townstar play to earn. And even then, it was seemingly a laughable amount compared to what the NFTs were hauling in, and especially the Vox. But it was at least doing something. But we were all kind of waiting with bated breath as to what the function or the utility was supposed to be for these things. They weren't just supposed to be there generating some sort of like minimal amount of town coin. They were supposed to give us access to a feature of the game or to put something together that was just made them worth owning. And
it was supposed to run the game. You were supposed to actually have your own town that you could make your own town tournaments in. They had a whole feature which I thought would have been fantastic, especially somebody like, Blackharp owning a Townstar node, and we want to promote what we've got going on here. Well, we're gonna, create our own Blackharp Townstar, tournaments that we're gonna put together. A lot of great ideas that were out there, and nothing came to fruition for those. And unfortunately, we're in a spot where we're years down the road waiting to see what's going to happen with those. So.
How much of this dilemma do you think is caused by, is there a potential, they just have too many irons in the fire and they just can't, or is it just...
No, that's just a factor of not following through at this point in time. They got enough employees and enough people that are on top of this stuff that it's a matter of that they're just not following through with what's there. Maybe there's some regulation stuff too that I don't know about. I mean, I can't comment on that because that's not my wheelhouse. So maybe there's some regulation side that they can't utilize the Townstar nodes for something. Maybe not. The fact of the matter is they were sold and they were promised a functioning utility, and it's not there yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a sticking point for some people. But each time we kind of come away with the same stalemate. It's almost not worth bringing up until we actually see some kind of progress, because I don't think they have anything to tell us. Or if they do, they're saving it for that one hype moment, and so
Yeah, and I don't want to get too deep into those side of things either. We were here to update on the things that are going on. That was just something that happened, and quick little hit on that, and
Hopefully we see
Yeah.
answers.
Yep, exactly.
So the only other thing we really have that we can look at is Mirandus. Again, they just keep doing it the right way. Jason Hughes every week puts out a little tech update, and that stuff flies way over my head. The stuff that he's mentioning that they're working on, that I'm glad that they know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
because I don't. One of the things that he did put in layman's terms for us was that the monsters are now learning how to switch their weapons, and I'm assuming he means like they know when to switch their weapons. So goblins used to just attack you in melee. Now they have bows and arrows, and they're going to switch, and you're going to get shot at if you're at the right range. So
yeah, I was actually sitting down. I was having lunch with McCarthy the other day, and he was telling me about some of this stuff. And I mean, it gets so deep in the technical side of things of what how they're
AI learning and all that.
Oh, like, you sit on the sideline as a, armchair quarterback, like, oh, just make it so this person can, it's going to know who you are and it's going to go after you because it's this. And it's like, you have to think about all of the information that has to be gathered.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the throughput that's there. And he was explaining all of it. And I was just like, damn, it's just, I mean, I'm super stoked. Like every time I talk with McCarthy and we chat about the different things that they're implementing and stuff like that, that game's going to be fun as shit.
Well, and I think people forget how, I remember I was watching this little video on this, I think it was for Elden Ring or one of these massive games that came out recently. And one of the developers was talking, he was like, yeah, it took 3 months for the character's hair to not break the game. So it's like, there's
Wow.
the littlest things that, you or I wouldn't even think twice about can just create huge issues. And so, it's like when you think about a great game, they take a while to be great. Starfield just came out from Bethesda. They've been working on it for 9 years or
9
something
years,
like that.
Yeah.
It just, you get these, and so when people come in to expect, oh, well, I want this great game done in 2 years. It's like, well, do you want a great game or do you want something done in 2 years? Because those don't really go hand in hand all the time.
And yet they're giving us these incredible like play tests and tech tests to run around in.
Which is what's awesome on the blockchain side of things. I mean, similar thing with games like Dead Drop and stuff. You get to be a part of each of those snapshots. So you get to work your way through it. And you're in for the long haul. And you're like, I don't expect this game to be, perfect right away because I get to experience, it throughout the whole process. So
yeah.
I think especially when you're creating a whole new world in something like Mirandus and all of the lore like you spoke about, and there's just a lot going on. So it's exciting to see.
The one thing that he talked to me about was creating the expansive world that he's trying to do makes it so you have to create an incredibly powerful base, right? Like you talk about building a house, you're building your foundation, right? And then he's trying to build this incredible base to where he can start to build these worlds from it that are massive, like in the insane amount of like data that's going to be pushed through this. So it took a lot of time for them to get to that point where that base is solid and they can start to implement more things. So I'm really excited for the next 12 months to see the play tests that they put forward and how much it increases the playability and that kind of stuff. So it's exciting.
Yeah, they've already mentioned little things that they've stepped forward since the last test. That the graveyard system the cemetery system is almost there. They said they've been working at it, and by almost there, I mean obviously they have it working, but then maybe every once in a while something glitches, and so they're working through that. We mentioned the advancement with the NPC AI. There's just constantly something you see the ball rolling forward. And the other thing that they constantly bring up is the way that they're cutting back on how heavy these burdens are going to be for people's machines at home.
Yeah.
They keep finding new ways to make it. Yeah, exactly. Just make it cheaper. And so those are all things that are just going to roll into this being a really interesting, a really enjoyable gaming experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited.
One thing it kind of popped up with the Vox stuff. There's a likelihood of an AMA with Will Wright very soon. So they initially said that they were going to hold one last month, and that got postponed. And then just within the past week, Vera, who used to go by Vera Awesome, and she's now how does she put it now? Vera is exploring the deeper meanings. Is her? She's she mentioned that it should be close to the launch of the Get Plucked game, so we can expect to hear news about a Will Wright AMA very soon.
Nice,
which would be an awesome update because it has been a bit since we heard from him. Nice to know that he's definitely still a part of the project, definitely moving Voxverse forward because there's a lot of us that have real interest.
We're waiting for the verse, right? Everybody's waiting for the verse.
Mm-hmm. Still clicking buttons in Vox Odyssey, gathering all those resources,
gearing up.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be exciting to be able to hear more about it. I'm hopefully we'll be able to see something to actually dive in, get some kind of playable as well sometimes.
Yeah.
That little one a bit ago, but maybe we'll get to see something more. And then again, that's speculation, but they like to do that close to the AMAs, to give us something to play around with.
Mm-hmm.
So
coming up on time, what else you got?
That was it for the news. We did kind of touch on all the different points that were coming up. Conversationally, we kind of glazed over Echoes of Empire. They didn't have any real new developments, but they did show some artwork. Bitbender leaked it in last week's ahead of the game, and it was kind of just a whole series of ships that were.
Oh yeah, I remember looking at that last week.
Yeah, he showed off a bunch of the art for the ships that are going to be available through the blueprints. Mentioned ahead of the game, that got pushed. Originally, they usually hold it Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, but because Jason was on the road, they decided to move it to today. So we're expecting that to be at 4 o'clock. That's usually a great touchstone for us to kind of gather information, but they hadn't hosted it yet. So that'll be a little surprise for everybody in about an hour and a half. So this is the Echoes of Empire stuff. I'm still very excited about that. That game seems to be picking up admirers. The Discord recently started seeing a little bit more activity. There's some OGs that kind of came back and started chatting about stuff as we're getting closer to a launch date. I picked up another Celestial claim in the system that we're going to be in with our guild. So
nice.
Look at you.
Yeah, it was a rare, but it was a decent price point. Also, like this whole guild concept is actually like really compelling. You want to have stuff so that you can help your friends. You can work together. We do have some stuff to work with already. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, 100%.
But as people grow their accounts, they're going to have more fleets to work with, and so they're going to need more places to dock those fleets or to mine with those fleets. And so it's good to get a collection of people that have a bunch of variety in the Celestial claims. But yeah, I'll plug the guild on a different time. We'll chat about who we are and what we're up to. But
yeah,
it should be an interesting gameplay scenario because there are two monster guilds in there. Zeta has a really, really big grasp of the cosmos, and the Mom Guild also has some solid foundation in there as far as the number of claims they own. And they have an organizational structure like across all the games essentially that that's going to help them kind of structure what they do with their guild. But we're kind of an upstart guild, but we have some really good players and some very active members of the Discord. So it should be interesting to see how things fare.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's going to start off really peaceful, but then it could get
then it'll digress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Cool.
deal.
Well, yeah, I just want to put out thanks for joining us on this. And I'm going to be doing Faz podcast tonight, talking specifically on the Gala Collective. So if you guys or whoever's listening, all three of you right now, but we'll put it out elsewhere because there's a lot of questions, and hopefully we'll go through and answer some of those and give little updates on things that we can. So, and that's at 5:00 Pacific tonight.
right after ahead of the game. Perfect.
Exactly. Sweet.
All right, everybody. Well, yeah, thanks for joining those who did. If you weren't able to, we'll be, I guess if you're not listening to this, you wouldn't know where we're going to be putting it, but we'll be putting it everywhere. So.
Hit the goodbye button. Hit the goodbye button.
Peace out, everybody.